Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2014 found footage style horror film The Taking of Deborah Logan, also known simply as The Taking. Now this is a film that was written and directed by Adam Robitel, and it stars Jill Larson as Deborah, Anne Ramsey, Michelle Ang, Brett Gentile, Jeremy DeCarlos and Ryan Catrona. Now I thought, well, a couple of years ago I did a top 10 list of my favourite found footage films. It's arguably my favourite subgenre in the horror, in the horror film genre itself. I think when a found footage film is done right, it can be really effective and really fun. So I did a top 10 list a couple of years ago of my favourite found footage films. However, since then I've watched quite a few effective ones, and there's a few more on my list that I still want to watch. So I thought I would get to work on doing maybe another top 10 found footage films that I think are worth checking out. And one that has been on my list to watch for quite a while is this film, The Taking of Deborah Logan. I'd heard quite a few good things about it, I just never got around to watching it. And this film focuses on an elderly woman, Deborah, played by Jill Larson, who is essentially been diagnosed with dementia. And her daughter, who is running out of funds, invites, if you like, a documentary film crew along to document the process of her mum's health declining through dementia. And the documentary crew agree to help fund and pay some of the hospital bills, etc, etc. However, when this documentary film crew are there, Deborah's behaviours initially mirror what you would expect from a dementia patient, but they soon start escalating, and it becomes clear eventually that there might be something a little bit more otherworldly, supernatural going on. That's all I really want to talk about here in regards to the plot. Now, what are my thoughts on The Taking of Deborah Logan? I really enjoyed this film. I think for me, a found footage film, or a found footage documentary style film, which this kind of is both in a way, it has to tick a few boxes for me. First one is a reason to be filming, and the reason is there. They give a good reason as to why they're filming, which works really well. Yes, there are a couple of points in the film where you could argue cameras wouldn't have been there, or they wouldn't have been filming, certainly in hospitals and things like that. But for the most part it explains the cameras away, which I really liked. And I just think as well, the found footage has been so saturated, this genre, with subpar films and films trying to make a quick buck, that it's hard sometimes to find the gems in all that. And this one does something different, I think, with the genre. You initially think this is going to be a straight possession film. I did. That's all I really knew about this film, really, from the bump of reading it and things. And then I was nicely surprised to find out while watching it that actually it goes in a bit of a different direction, which I really enjoyed and I really appreciated. Initially, as strange as it sounds, I was a little bit disappointed when it started going down this different path, and I was a bit like, oh, that's not what I expected. But then I really started to appreciate the direction it was going in. So I really liked that. So it ticked a few boxes for me, this film, in regards to making sense why the cameras are there, and also it tried to do something different with this subgenre of found footage films, which I really appreciated. And the performances here, again, they all have to be believable. You have to believe these are real people filming real situations, and they nail that as well in this. So all the boxes are ticked. Now I do really want to talk about Jill Larson, who plays Deborah in this film, Deborah Logan. Incredible performance by this woman. Easily the standout in this film. I can't tell you how great her performance is. It really made this film, and she really fully committed to this role. And some of the sequences here and some of the things that happen in this film are genuinely frightening, genuinely scary, and most of that is down to Jill Larson's performance. Fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And let's get on to the scares here. Do they work? Absolutely. There's a couple of cheap scares where they up the music and things like that, you know, when someone's turning and someone's there and they up the music. There's a couple of cheap ones here and there, but the majority of the scares that you're exposed to in this film are really effective. Some of them are jaw-dropping. Some of them are really well done, quite subtle, and then some of them are way over the top and absolutely terrifying to watch. And the last 15 minutes is, as it should be in found footage, confused, a bit manic, mixed in with terrifying visuals, paranoia, fear. Again, it follows a certain pattern for found footage, which I like, but it does something different with the genre, which I also like. So there's an awful lot here, I think, to really appreciate for fans of found footage. And I'm really delighted that I watched this film. And yeah, I'm definitely going to try and seek this and add this to my collection. I've already had a look. I can't seem to find it on Blu-ray, certainly in the UK, so I might have to go abroad, maybe Germany, and pick it up and add it to my collection. But it's certainly something I really want to watch again, and I'm very pleased that I did watch this film. I just think sometimes found footage, it gets a bad rap because people think it's just, I don't know, predictable and cheap sometimes, and I think there are some really good examples out there of why these type of films, found footage films, can be so effective, and I think this is one of those. There are many others out there on the market, you know. You've got the Borderlands, you've got Grave Encounters, you've got As Above So Below, all these other great ones that were in my other list, by the way. But I think it's safe to say that this is going to make my second list. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really well made, fantastic performances, and it tries to do something new with the genre, which is always a fantastic thing. So I'm giving this a very strong 8 out of 10. If you're a fan of found footage, if you're a fan of horror, it's definitely worth watching and checking out this one. Yeah, so that's my review for The Taking of Deborah Logan. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more content on Screen Stars very soon.